ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite to the stage one really of the world leaders in the IT, a CEO of a company which is a great friend to Israel. They have done here, I don't know, maybe 12 different acquisitions, and they are a proof that part of the success of the Israeli model is that when small companies need to grow fast and they are being acquired by large international companies, the growth is being increased and the maximum value of the development is being obtained and the people are staying in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Chuck Robbins, CEO of Cisco.
Good morning. How's everybody? It's a quiet crowd. Serious security crowd. Take everything seriously. Gil, I'm intrigued that you have a baby. Because I have to tell you, in the last 12 months, I actually became a grandfather, and I'm not sure how I could deal with having a baby all the time anymore, so God bless you. Okay? But it will keep you young for sure. It's amazing as we talk about security today and the very nice introduction about the acquisitions that we've done here, how long we have been in Israel. I'm here actually to celebrate our 20th anniversary. I met with 8 different startups yesterday. I think we've bought 13 companies. CloudLock was one of our most recent security, and while it had a legal headquarters somewhere else, it had a significant R&D center here in Israel. And based on the discussions I had with some of the startups yesterday, my inclination is that we will continue to be active here. What I want to talk about today is very much in line with what we've heard this morning already. We understand the issue, but what I want to talk about is the fact that things are moving faster than I think anyone realizes. And we are going through the most significant technology transformation that any of us have ever seen, and that most of us will see during our lifetimes. I mean, I've been in the technology industry for 30 years, and I started as an application developer on an IBM mainframe. And it is stunning the pace that we moved then and the pace that we're moving now. 2016, in my opinion, was a massive inflection point for this next wave of connectivity. For a few years, we've been talking to customers about how technology has historically enabled their strategy, had become a differentiating element within their strategy, and then today, every city, every country, every company around the world has technology at the absolute heart of their strategy, and their strategy is fundamentally being redefined by what technology makes possible. It's not about define the strategy and then how does technology help me drive it. It is what does technology provide that actually changes my strategy. Pick your numbers. Sometime in the next decade, there's going to be hundreds of billions of devices, 300, 400, 500 billion. Massive amounts of data. And I'll tell you that there's research that says in 2014 and 2015 that roughly 31 to 32% of the new connections to the internet were not phones or tablets, right? Machine to machine. In Q3 of last year, 58% of the new connections to the internet were machine to machine connections. We have a platform that is standard in a significant number of telcos around the world that connect these machine-to-machine connections. And today, we're connecting 1.6 million new devices per month to those platforms. And 300 or 400 enterprise customers around the world are actually taking data off those platforms. Governor, some of the companies that sit in your great state are taking advantage of that. We work very closely with them. So we have more and more and more and more things that are connected every day. And the fundamental question that we're all asking, that we all know the answer to, is, are we secure? And more importantly, the people who don't understand this, the people that the governor was talking about earlier that we all need to try to educate, they're the ones who are really asking this question. They're asking us, can you secure this? Because the single biggest fear that every industry has, that every government leader has, is that as we continue to add more and more and more to the internet, as we add electrical grid, as we add vehicles, are we secure? And we have to think about that in the context of this massively changing landscape that we deal with. The attack surface is growing just exponentially. The sophistication of the attacks. Think about, as we connect all these devices, we connect vehicles, or we connect water systems or electrical grids, we're going to have to push processing power out into the network. And the value of that information is going to have a very short life. So you could see a new attack vector from the hackers, which is, how do I insert bad information into a rapid decision process? And we have to think differently about how this architecture and how all these connections are going to fundamentally change how we have to defend. And much to Gil's point, there's been a lack of interoperability. We've done surveys with our customers, and customers have 50 and 60 different security products. And there's just absolutely no way that they can actually aggregate all the information from all of those devices and actually respond and or prevent a threat in a timely fashion whatsoever. We have not built open architectures. That's one of the fundamental challenges that we have as an industry, is we have to build that open architecture that Gil talked about that allows everyone to plug into it. And we need to make sure that we provide that information about this open architecture to all the companies that have tremendous assets and great capabilities in security. There are over 600 security startups in Israel alone. 600, and a reporter yesterday afternoon said, "Do you think that's too many?" I said, "No. We need as many as we can get, but we need to create a set of standards and an open architecture that give them something to plug into so that we don't create more complexity for our customers and decrease their ability to solve this problem." The digital traffic out there creates a greater attack surface. If you look at the amount of data, 2.3 terabytes, by 2025, there are going to be 150,000 new connections per minute. And for all of you in the security business, you guys know, and you utilize honeypots, and you know that when you connect a new device to the internet and you actually watch the inbound attacks that occur in the first 2 minutes that device is connected, that gives you a sense of all the threats and everything that's going on. And we're going to be connecting 150,000 devices every minute in 8 years. So we have to get ahead of this issue. We have to get on top of this issue so that we can deliver twice a broadband speed to people around the world, so that we can allow technology to fulfill the mission and actually bring change and bring social benefit and deliver health care to those who otherwise wouldn't have it. Our responsibility is, as we double those broadband connections and as we take this technology into emerging countries and areas around the world, and as we think about technology being the great equalizer and that which creates opportunity for those who are less fortunate around the world, we have a responsibility to secure it and to make them feel comfortable that that's a safe opportunity that they're being provided. Now, the good news for all of us is it's a $100 billion opportunity. It's massive. Right? And again, 76% of the technology professionals in the companies say that their biggest problem is visibility. They just fundamentally can't see anything. So the way we think about it is, we all know we have to deploy security everywhere. And this is a simple thing to say, but let's just think for a moment about the architecture of the internet and how it's going to continue to become more and more and more distributed, and why we have been so focused on this market over the last few years, as have many of you. As we add more and more devices, whether it's vehicles, whether it's mining operations, whether it's hospitals, manufacturing facilities, remote vending machines, the network is just getting more and more and more extended, right? The whole notion of a perimeter has been gone for a long time, and increasingly, it'll be impossible to determine any sort of perimeter around any organization. So about four and a half years ago, we re-architected our security strategy under the simple premise that the common denominator and the single piece of technology that permeates all the way from that vehicle, all the way to the data center, all the places in the infrastructure that Gil talked about, is the network. Is the network. So we believed, and I still believe today, that we are going to have to be the first line of defense when the packet hits the wire. When those packets come off of those vehicles and they hit the LTE network and then they begin to move, we have to start applying security at that very moment in time, which means we need that real-time open architecture that is absolutely everywhere. It's got to be pervasive, it's got to be continuous, it's got to be open, and that's what we're trying to build today. And we need to do that through a best-of-breed portfolio. And for Cisco, we think there are several attributes that need to come into play. Right? We have to reduce the complexity of this technology. Right? We have to make it simple. We have to actually make it automated. Because if we're going to do, again, what Gil talked about earlier, if we're going to take advantage of being able to correlate all the threat information that we have around the world, which we need to aggregate, and in today's world of machine learning and deep learning and processing power, we have to come together and share threat information as an industry. And we have to correlate those threats and then give our customers, countries, and cities the ability to act very rapidly on that. And in order to do so, you have to automate the ability to deploy defenses against threats that we've just learned about. This is a key element. And we have to focus on efficacy. We have to focus on the absolute effectiveness of the solutions. But I'm going to go back to one more thing here. And I'm going to say it again, open. Right? And what I want you to know is that while we are absolutely in business to be successful as a company, we also, everything we're building about this next generation security architecture that I truly believe has to begin at the network, because that's the pervasive element, it has to be open. So that if there is a best of breed technology solution that isn't ours, it needs to be plugged in. And we need to make sure that we're working together to bring the benefits to all the users and all the companies around the world. And the way we look at this, the way we do it, we need to lever every capability we have of pulling these architectures together. So in Cisco's case, we have a massive R&D budget on an annual basis. Of course, my engineering leader doesn't think it's quite so massive. He thinks it should be bigger. But in the last 3 years, we've spent $1.5 billion in internal R&D on security. $1.5 billion. As we said earlier, and many of you in the audience know, we have the ability to do acquisitions. We did one last week, a small company called AppDynamics. You may have heard about that. And we've done several here in Israel. Again, 13. And we will continue to. Thank you. But it's also important in that spirit of open is that we partner. And we have partners here. I met yesterday with Elusive. I know GuardioCore is a local company. And then we actually can do co-development, where there's elements of design and work that goes on in one company. We make changes in ours, and the combination of those two bring unique innovation and unique capabilities to our customers. And all of these methodologies, in our view, are important ways that we ultimately will solve this problem, like what we're doing here with Radware in Israel. And what that translates to is that today, and this is a staggering number, is that between our cloud security, our email security, our premise-based security, our advanced malware, we actually stop 19.7 billion threats per day. That's a number that probably very few of you actually knew. That's 6 times the number of Google searches that are done. Right? It's a huge amount of threat information. We have 100 terabytes of threat information that we gather daily. And we have hundreds of threat analysts, as do many of the other companies out there. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to just make sure we're coming together, sharing that information so we can correlate and understand the problems that are going on. And what this allows us to do is, for our customers, it allows us to move the time to detection down. And that is a key element of what we're attempting to do. Because we've all got the statistics. Everybody's got their version of the statistics. How long is a threat in someone's infrastructure before they find it? Governor Snyder said, it's been placed, it hasn't been activated yet. We have to be able to detect these things. And I think we all operate under the premise that we're going to do everything we can to defend, but we're not naive enough to know that we're not going to have a problem. And then how do we deal with that problem once we detect it? And then how do we remediate and prevent in the future? And that's the way we all have to be thinking, and we just have to move more quickly. With the landscape changing, with the threat surface increasing, we have to focus on finding these threats faster than we ever have before. And this is a key thing that I think we all need to do together. And with our ultimate goal of cutting this number down, 49% of major corporations have had to go out and talk about some sort of attack that they've had to deal with. And the brand value that is lost when this occurs, and it's the brand value whether you're a city, whether you're a country, whether you're a company, is massive. And this is what we all believe that we can attack here. We can go after this and really help companies feel more secure, cities feel more comfortable actually taking and leveraging this technology to change citizens' lives. We want to do like what we've done in the country of Israel, where we've launched a country digitization initiative with the government, or what we did with Jerusalem yesterday, where we launched a smart city initiative. We want to leverage this technology to fundamentally make people's lives better. And I think that in order to do that, it's incumbent upon all of us and all the smart people here to actually tackle this problem, go at it as quickly as we possibly can, do it in an open, integrated way, and solve this problem so that people around the world can truly derive the benefit of what this technology can bring to all of them. And I believe in this so deeply that there are people inside my company that didn't want the word securely to be a part of our brand promise. But I do believe this is our ultimate mission. We want to securely connect everything to absolutely make anything possible for anyone around the world. So thank you for letting me spend time with you today, and enjoy the show.
Mr. Robbins, not so fast, not so fast. You know, the people paid for the entry and they want to get value for their ticket. And you and I have to provide it. A couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Number one, what is the percentage of the current business of Cisco in the security area as part of the total business, and what do you think it will be in 5 years, just as a proxy to what's going on in the industry?
It's about 8% of our business today. And I think in 5 years, it could be as much as 15 to 20% of our business.
And do you think, the notion that the industry will collaborate is a very good one, but do you think it will come into fruition, that the industry will really collaborate?
I do, because the security community leaves the competitiveness at the door. I mean, there's a competitive element associated with our businesses for sure, but when you talk to people who care deeply about the security element, their first order priority is solving this problem for their constituents, and that comes first for everybody. And I think that that's what you're going to see all of us embrace. It's the only way that we're going to actually solve this and allow the world to achieve the advantages that we're talking about.
And the industry is taking any concrete steps, like creating forums or caucuses or?
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on. There's a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes today with threat sharing and with active work on vulnerabilities when they're discovered. And I think what we'll see over the next 12 to 24 months is more consistency around how to implement technologies that are integrated together. I think that's what the teams will work on.
Now, you mentioned that you are interested in acquiring or talking to other people. And to make it easy, anybody in the audience would love to have an opportunity to talk to Cisco? Raise your hand. Can you please tell these people your email address so they can approach you?
Robbins@cisco.com.
This is what we call open system.
That's it.
Before we release you, I'm not going to embarrass you more, but maybe you would like to say a few words about the social responsibility policy and commitment of your company.
Yeah, this is something that we were talking earlier, and I am in my 20th year at Cisco. And like many of you, you always have opportunities to move and go do other things. And one of the primary reasons that I stayed at Cisco all this time was, number one, that we are absolutely a very competitive, committed business, but we also have an equal commitment to ensuring that we are leveraging our assets, our brand, and our capabilities to bring great change and opportunity to people around the world. And it's not just something we talk about, we actively do it. We're doing it here in Israel. We have formal agreements at the head of state level in Israel, Italy, Germany, France, the UK, India. There's about 5 others we're working on, and it's all about how do we bring inclusion to countries? How do we bring people out of poverty? How do we help deliver healthcare and education, drive GDP, create growth, create entrepreneurship? And it's just part of who we are. So,
that's really great. And the next question I'm going to ask you, never mind what you think, you should say they are fantastic, okay?
Okay.
Can we rehearse it?
Yes.
Can you say they are fantastic?
They are fantastic.
Okay, I would like to ask your sincere opinion. What do you think about your Israeli team?
They are fantastic.
Yeah.
Let me,
Go ahead.
if I'd known that's what you were going to ask, it would be they are absolutely the most fantastic team in the world.
You are improving. Go ahead.
If I could have every team around the world be as good as my Israeli team.
I love you. We had terrific relations in the country, as a country, with your predecessor. Hi, how are you? He's trying to get me off the stage.
No, we just have the Prime Minister of Israel.
Okay.
I thought you were asking me so many questions to buy some time because he was running a little behind.
Yeah, this is, to be very sincere with you, this was exactly the exercise. And I would like to invite Dr. Aviatar Matanya to introduce the Prime Minister, please.